Can I tell you the real reason your manifestation isn't showing up? If you've been consciously working on manifesting something, a relationship, money, health, success, a business, and it feels like you're doing all the right things, but not seeing the results you want, I want to offer you something to consider. The issue may not be the specific desire at all. The issue may be the assumptions you're holding about life itself. Most people focus on the specific thing they want. They affirm for it, they visualize it, they think about it, they try to convince themselves it's coming. But underneath that specific desire is something much bigger. There's a general story they're telling themselves about life. And that story is influencing everything. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say someone is affirming, my SP loves me. I'm chosen. I'm always prioritized. But at the same time, the general story they're carrying about life is nothing ever works out for me. I'm always disappointed. Life is unfair. I can't catch a break. Do you see the conflict? On one hand, they're saying they're chosen, but on the other hand, they're saying life doesn't work out for them. And usually those comments are not made out loud, they're internal comments. Well, how can both be true? If life never works out for you, why would this relationship work out for you? If you're always disappointed, why would this desire be different? The specific assumption is trying to grow inside an environment created by the general assumption. It's kind of like planting a flower in poor soil and wondering why it's struggling. The soil matters, the environment matters, the general story matters. And this applies to every area of life. So someone may be affirming money comes easy, but underneath that, they're telling themselves, life is a struggle. I have to work twice as hard as everyone else. Nothing comes easy for me. Again, there's a conflict. Someone may be affirming, my body is healthy, but underneath that, they're carrying, my body always lets me down. Something is always wrong. I don't feel good. I'm just unlucky. Can you see how the general assumption becomes the lens through which every specific assumption is filtered? And this is why it's so important to stop asking only, what am I assuming about my desire? And start asking, what am I assuming about life? Because many people have never examined that question. They don't realize they've been narrating the same story for years, maybe decades. Life is hard. People leave. Money is stressful. Good things just don't last. I always have to struggle. Nothing works out for me. And here's what I want you to understand. Those assumptions aren't facts. They're assumptions. They're stories. They're conclusions. And most of the time, they became assumptions because they've been repeated so often. You told yourself a story, you collected evidence for that story. You noticed everything that seemed to confirm the story, and eventually, that made up story started feeling true. But feeling true and being true are not the same thing. An assumption can feel completely true and still be just an assumption. And that's actually really good news. Because if repetition created the assumption, repetition can create a new one. You don't have to wake up tomorrow and suddenly believe life is wonderful. You don't have to force yourself to believe something that feels impossible. You simply begin becoming aware of the story. Listen to your internal narration. Listen to how you describe your life. Listen to how you explain things. Listen to what you say when something doesn't go your way. Listen to what you say when you're waiting. Listen to what you say when you're in traffic. Listen to what you say when nobody else is listening. That's where you'll find your assumptions. Some may even surprise you. Either way, once you find them, you can consciously begin changing them. Maybe instead of nothing ever works out for me, you begin practicing things do work out for me, because sometimes they actually do. And instead of I'm always disappointed, you begin practicing life is constantly surprising me in good ways. Instead of I can't catch a break, you begin practicing I am supported. Not because you're trying to force yourself into positivity either, but because you're consciously choosing a different assumption, a different lens, a different story. And here's the beautiful thing. When your general assumptions begin to change, your specific desires no longer have to fight against them. Now the environment, your internal chatter, supports them rather than negates them. Now the soil they'll be growing in supports them. Now your assumptions about life and your assumptions about your desires are moving in the same direction. And that's powerful. So here's my invitation. For the next few days, do not try to fix anything. Don't try to heal anything. Don't try to manifest anything. Just listen. What stories are you telling yourself about life? Because whatever story you're repeatedly telling yourself today is more than likely the very story you'll be experiencing as reality tomorrow. And if you don't like the story, remember this: an assumption is just a practiced thought, which means a new assumption can be practiced too. Stay well.